Hello, hello. Welcome back to Get Organized at Work podcast. If your week feels like it just happens to you, like you start Monday with good intentions, you dive right on in, you blink, and suddenly it's Thursday afternoon, and you're like, oh, wait, what did I actually move forward? This episode is for you. Welcome to Get Organized at Work. I'm your host, Kayla Fahey-Ahrndt, healthcare leader, mom of 3, and your go-to guide for ditching the chaos and taking control of your workday. This is the show where we turn overwhelming to-do lists into clear, actionable plans so you can crush your goals and show up as your best self at work and in your life. Whether you're here for strategies to stay ahead or systems to simplify your workday, you're in the right place. Let's get organized, have some fun, and make this year your best year in your career yet. Let's dive in. Because today, we're not fixing your to-do list. We did that last week in our Fix It series. This week, we are fixing your week. And I'm going to walk you through the exact system I use every single week as a healthcare leader, a mom of 3, and a business owner, using my weekly dashboard inside my OneNote Hub. This is not theory. This is not aesthetic planning. Although sometimes I like to make it look cute. This is how I actually run my life and my work. Before we dive into the main part of the episode, I just want to have some unscripted real talk for you all. So it's May. If you're listening to this when it drops, it'll be May 4th. May the 4th be with you. So that means the first 4 months of the year have gone by. Poof. Goodbye. We are a third of the year. It's over. A third of the year is over, which is wild to me. And so if you think back on the last 4 months, what projects have you sunk your teeth into and moved forward? Have you had any big accomplishments? Has your team crossed the finish line on anything or started something new and really gained momentum? If you really can't think of anything, and if you feel like your weeks have been a blur, or maybe you don't feel very accomplished, this is the episode for you. I really want you to start thinking about how can I be more intentional with my days and my weeks so that by the time months end, I have something to show for it. Leaders who are able to think strategically and plan ahead and be steady in their proactiveness, they get promoted. People who are intentional, who build capacity for themselves and their teams so they can actually drive results, those are the people that get noticed. And so if you are struggling in your career, feeling like you are in a pit and you are climbing out or trying to get out, but you can't seem to, this is the method for you. So let's dive in. Here's the truth. Your to-do list isn't broken. We talked about it last week. We talked about how you really need a structure for managing your to-dos. And this week, what we're talking about is how to structure your week. Chances are the problem is your week has no structure, even if you intend it to. When your week has no structure, everything feels urgent. You're constantly in reactive mode, firefighting mode. You're rewriting the same tasks over and over, and the real priorities you have get buried. So instead of trying to manage your tasks better, we're going to build a system where the week works for you. Yes, it works for you, my friend. Your week is your employee. All right. So when I open my weekly dashboard in my Ultimate OneNote Hub, the very first thing I see is my focus/leadership intention for the week. And I love this because it forces me to pause and ask, what actually matters this week? Not everything matters. Not the 47 things on my list, just only what matters. So using a previous week, this is what I wrote. Clarify next steps for MTP standardization project. Make sure I get workouts in and take care of myself. Send thank yous to workshop participants. And then I also have, what am I intentionally deprioritizing? So for that week, it was deprioritizing researching whole blood utilization. It was important. It popped up. It was interesting, but I knew I didn't have time for it. And so it was going to need to wait. I ultimately felt so much better by saying, okay, this is what matters and this is what not. Half of the week is energy management. So this is where most people skip, but this is leadership. Because when you say this matters, you also need to say, this doesn't matter right now. It might matter later. Just today, it doesn't matter. And this is how you stop overcommitting. And this is how you create realistic expectations. Realistic weeks are far better than the fancy ones. We are not building fancy weeks here. We are building realistic ones. The next section that I look at is dates that matter this week. This is where I put non-negotiables, key deadlines, and important meetings. For example, a leader one-on-one or final MTP report out meeting, because this week already has structure. You just need to make it visible. I talk so much on the podcast about making work visible. Put the things that are most important right in front of your face. So when you don't make things like this visible, you accidentally overbook yourself. You might forget the context in which this meeting is taking place, or you feel behind before you even start. So this section grounds your week in reality. See everything that's important before it happens. Don't get caught off guard. The next thing, or step 3 that I look at, is my decision parking lot. Now, for me, this feels like an elite level leadership function. This is one of my favorite parts of the dashboard. The decision parking lot is so helpful because decisions can be really sneaky. They sit in your brain, they drain your energy, and sometimes they don't go anywhere. So again, making it visible. This is where I track decisions I'm avoiding, decisions I'm waiting on information so that I can make a decision, and decisions that I absolutely will and have committed to make this week. For example, membership tier decision by the end of the week. Something simple to remind myself, hey, by Friday, I want to be accountable to having made that decision. If something sits on my list for more than a couple weeks, it probably needs a decision or data behind it or just to be deleted. And this is how I stop carrying mental clutter. All right. And then also on my dashboard, I have what are called quick links. I link out to my Kanban boards or my project roadmaps so that I can easily click and see where we're at with all of our projects. I link out to my area dashboards where I have my key performance metrics and also frequent meeting notes or resources that I use all the time. This removes friction from me being able to find things so that I can just quickly go there without thinking about it. It's almost like muscle memory. Every time you have to go searching for something, you lose momentum. So this section is small, but it keeps me in flow. So when you look at this whole dashboard together, this is a command center. This is a weekly command center. This is not a planner. You have your intention, your priorities, your constraints, your decisions, and your resources. So now you're not guessing your way through the week. You are leading this. All right. So let's talk about how to use it every day and why this works. So this dashboard is built for a high-level overview of the week. But this is the part that actually makes the system work. Every day, and this takes maybe 5 to 10 minutes, I open this dashboard. It's the first place I go when my desktop opens instead of my email or my Teams chat. I open the dashboard, I review it, I adjust it, and I capture anything that's new. And that's it. Probably Monday or Friday is when I'm populating it for the upcoming week. And the key thing here is I'm not rewriting my to-do list every day and all my tasks. I am moving things within a system, right? So I'm pulling from my to-do list and anything that I've sort of prioritized for the week, and I'm inserting it into my dashboard. I know that it's a priority this week or that it's not. So we don't want to start over every single day. To build momentum, we have to continue forward. That's why this dashboard allows you to build on top of every single day. All right, so how do we reset this at the end of the week, right? We have to make a new one for the next week. We need to sort of level it up or build on top of it. So I come back to the dashboard and I ask, what did I move forward? What didn't I? And what needs to carry over? And then that becomes next week's starting point. I'm not starting from scratch. I don't have a blank dashboard. Actually, in my OneNote Hub, I copy paste the current week and I just edit it for the next week and I rename it with the next week's date. This has been life-changing. I don't have to look at my calendar and start from scratch. I'm just carrying forward from where I was. And this is the shift. You're no longer living in random weeks, starting from scratch, or constant overwhelm. What you're working to build is consistency. Now, this is the bigger shift that I want you to realize. This system is not about being perfect. Some weeks you won't finish everything. You'll still feel behind and life's going to happen. I mean, this week alone, knowing going into the week, I had a sick kid over the weekend. Life is busy. I know we have an inspection at my work coming up. Things are constantly shifting. I have a dance recital coming up, so I have like extra practices that are not normally there. But this dashboard, it keeps me grounded and it gives me a place to land. So I keep track of everything. I'm aware of what's going on and I'm not flying by the seat of my pants. All right, so here's a real talk moment. You don't need a more complicated system. You don't need 10 different apps to manage your to-dos and your projects. You just need one place, one weekly rhythm dashboard, one way to lead your work. So if you are listening to this and thinking, okay, I need this. This is exactly what my OneNote Hub is built for. It has the weekly dashboard, monthly check-ins, project tracking, leader standard work, notes, everything in one place that you can customize for yourself and take what I have and level it up for whatever niche that you're in. You can grab the full version of my OneNote Hub in the link below or in the show notes. It's also available in my Get Organized at Work podcast community for free. So if you join as a member, it'll be there in our free resource library. Otherwise, I do have a simple version that's just the dashboard, not the whole OneNote Hub, that you can get for free as well, linked in the show notes. All right, this week should not surprise you. You're going to do great. You should not get to Friday and wonder what happened. You are a leader of your time, your energy, and your work. Remember, your week is employed by you. And when you fix your week, everything else starts to fall in place. All right, thank you for being here, and I will talk with you in the next episode.